Our live this morning. I thought we'd just do a little live just for having such a good day yesterday. Such a good day. And get your Lager Gustav t-shirts at hoopsmarts.co.uk. Along the bottom, let's see who's on. We said Tony. Just saw that. What did Tony say? John Quinn says, brilliant day yesterday. What a performance. Yes, they can keep their sons. They will boo. Tam Mack's in the house. Kyogo, this scalper. Peter Morrison's in the house, and Tam Mack is in the house also. Right, there is a couple of news stories I want to talk about this morning. Sappy says, hail, hail. And the funny one is, and we're going to call it karma. We're going to call it karma. And Ali McCoist this morning has been absolutely freaking out on the radio. Beale's getting the sack. Ali McCoist has been freaking out this morning saying it's ridiculous the decision of VAR. Now, you don't see them crying out ridiculous against referees when at least every week it's people are playing penalty bingo, and it's a case of we've seen how easy that him with a little blue ribbon in his hair goes down in the box and throws his legs up trying to get what you would only say. I mean, if he got the penalty, it would have been absolutely disgusting. But it happens on a weekly basis. And you don't see Mr. McCoist and all the other ones complaining on a weekly basis when they get their penalty rangers. It's the only time in this channel that we get to talk about them, right? Because we have played them yesterday. And it is the only time that we will give them any sort of breathing space on this channel. And let's face it, the better team in the first half went ahead. We controlled the game the first half, but in Beale we trust. Cantwell is a poor man's Maradona. He's not even as good as he can't even say that. PSV done 5-1. We struggled to beat them 1-0. Right, Jocklaw, come on. Look how many of our first team players were out yesterday. You can't come out with a comment like that when we've got so many players out injured. You know, have a little bit of reality check this morning. We beat them with a weakened team. We completely dominated that first half, and we beat them with a weakened team. So I'm having none of this nonsense about PSV beating them 5-1, and we struggled to beat them 1-0. Because when you look at it, we put out a weakened team yesterday. We've got so many players that aren't fit just now. Our main defenders are not fit. We're playing with two guys that, if you had said to me during the summer, if I'd said to you in the summer that we would go in with Scales, right, and a young 21-year-old that just came into the team, you would say we were going to get annihilated. Anyone would have bit your hand off yesterday. So saying that we struggled to beat them 1-0 when PSV beat them 5-1, come on, have a bit of a reality check this morning. Kevin Kismet said Spain. Right. PSV only drew with them at Ibrox. Yeah, exactly. If you want to go down that narrative, they only drew with them at Ibrox. They drew 2-2 with them at Ibrox. Don't get me on a rant this morning. I'm in a good mood. Anyway, we went out yesterday and did the job that was needed. End of, says Irish Corner Store. Yes, that is true. Let's get back to McCoist, because McCoist has had a bit of a rant. He says, the referee initially allowed the goal to stand. However, a short while later, it was instantly, Ali, right? Stop. Did you even watch the game? The VAR check. Now, there's a VAR check on every goal, every Celtic goal. So this nonsense that, he disposed Gustav Lagerbielke deep inside Celtic territory, he said. There's plenty of pictures. I mean, there's lots of Rangers sites putting up the pictures. He's got his leg in front of him, puts his leg in front of him, puts it on the ground to stop the player moving forward. It's a penalty. And if it happened against us, we'd be aggravated too. Alan Muir was called called Robertson over at the pitch side to look at the monitor, and it's always the case. Do you know what I mean? And the amount of times that's probably happened, let's face it, it's called karma, right? McCoist has been saying that it's absolute. McCoist, his exact words were, he's been slamming the referee, and he says it was appalling. The decision to call VAR was appalling. He said you look at the pictures. Look at the pictures, Ali. Right? He's been on the radio this morning, absolutely bananas, saying that VAR should never have been involved. You know, the goal was a goal. Should never have been involved. He's an absolute. This goes back on. He also says that the encounters was the worst ever. He decided both teams as bang average. Before the game yesterday, he is bitter. He is bitter, right? Before the game yesterday, Sky decided to show goals against Celtic from the 1990s. From the 1990s, right? They had to show goals from the 1990s of a successful Rangers team. Anyway, John, morning for a very good boy. I'm in God's country today, Glenrothes. It's not God's country, it's the biggest retirement village in Fife. Trust me. Yes, it is Huntiers. It's a pint of them this morning. Rules are rules. Yes, they are. And VAR checks every goal. Now, the fact that they've been on, McCann Sports Scene last night was spitting nails. He was that tarmac. I haven't watched it all. I got sent a little clip of it. But Fat Ali was a poacher. Yep. It was a poacher. But when you look at the modern game, right, and you've got these ex-players, and this is what I'm going about this morning's video. We've got all these ex-players that are so-called pundits because they played the game. None of them are made it as managers, right? You can play football. Doesn't mean you're any good at stats or tacticians or anything, right? I hated the 90s. Yes, the pagans dominated it. They did so joke. And I worked in a factory that was actually dominated by them. And it was horrendous. It's horrendous. A young me. Anyway, it comes down to Scotland, and it doesn't in English. The fact that you've got Robbie Savage as a pundit. He was an absolutely woeful player. He was terrible. He was absolutely terrible. Do you know? And I mean, McCoist, he's never made it as a manager. Never made it as a manager. But they have their say. They have their say and they have their little rant and they have their moment. I mean, I have a rant on here. He went on to say, he said, Rangers' disallowed goal is an absolutely appalling decision. Cards on the table. I thought both teams were bang average at best. It might be worst. It might be the worst Celtic Rangers team I've seen in a while. Ali, right? People need to think. Celtic went out yesterday with half a first team not even fit. Half a first team not even fit. We put out the exact same team that drew against St Johnstone at home. Right? Robbie Savage, the underwear model. It is a beautiful day. Robbie Savage, the fact that they're all absolutely going ballistic this morning about VAR. My take on it is, right, they don't complain about VAR and they don't complain about the penalty ranges that they get every second week. It's usually every week. And it's a laughing thought. It's an ongoing thing in Scottish football, penalty bingo with Rangers. When are they going to get their penalty bingo? And people online going about penalty bingo. Yet when it happens to them, when there's a VAR decision that was proven to be the right decision, as far as I'm concerned, he put his foot in front of Gustav. He plants his foot on the ground, which impedes Gustav. It impedes the Celtic player. So it's a penalty all day long. The fact that they're saying that it's not a penalty, the goal should have stood, they're clutching at straws. They're clutching at straws because they're not actually looking what's wrong within their own club. They need to look at what's actually wrong within their club before they decide to have a go at everything else. Wait a minute, I have to drink some more tears. Fresh tears this morning. It was the right decision. We're loving their pain, says Andrew. Let's get some comments. Joseph Dobbert says, Wee Ali was raging because he lost money on the game, £5 each way. Is Alan Stubbs on VAR? He might have it's Alan Stubbs on VAR after Alan Stubbs' comment at the weekend. Jotwell says, it was a foul, but I do believe it was soft. A foul is a foul, though. It's a foul is a foul. It's the rules of the game. It's the rules of the game. Every single goal, and unless it's a goal like Kyogo's, which was absolutely fantastic. Every other goal apart from that, I mean, the good thing about Kyogo's goal was it came from our goalkeeper kicking the ball out. Their defender decided to head it back into midfield. Our defender would have done the exact same. The good thing about it is Matt O'Reilly was there to see the ball. He headed it back into the path of Kyogo. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. Let's get some of the comments. They have a cheek to talk about cheating. Yes, they do. It's VAR assisting the rebels, other Republicans this morning. VAR assisted Republicans. Right, let's see if there's any more news kicking about, because we're going to get into some. I mean, John Hartson's been talking about it also. I mean, they're all going to talk. I said before the game, I said it's either going to be one of the most exciting games ever, and if you look back at the videos, I'd say it's either going to be a score draw, or there's going to be a talking point about VAR, and there's going to be a talking point about the referee, and I was proven to be correct again. You know, there's been a decision that's been made, and these games always come down to one dodgy decision, and the fact that they were on the back of a decision that they disagree with. You know, Kyogo's goal was fantastic. The result yesterday was good for us at a weakened team. It had its moments, though. We battled through. It had its moments, but we played. I'm going to talk about this again. Go back to last week's Celtics, Vatican assistant Republicans of the rebels. When you go back to Celtic TV on YouTube and look at the Lennoxtown videos. Look at I was going to try and upload that video, but the abuse that it got means that it wasn't going to be fine. Now, go back to the Celtic videos of last week. Watch the training videos again. Watch the videos of the Lennoxtown Unleashed videos, and watch how they're passing, right, and how quick they're passing the ball. They applied that exactly as they did in training. They played like that yesterday. They got into little tight groups. They knew the Rangers players would try and block them and cut them down, and they were passing the ball in between. This is the Brendan Rodgers team that everyone has been saying is slow, boring football. This is the way that Brendan wants us to play. Quick-paced, passing football in between players. It's not going to be running up the pitch, trying to annihilate teams, because teams will sit back in Scotland. Teams will sit back. The fact that they didn't sit back, they had a wide gap between their front three and their midfield, and their defence was actually sitting quite far back. Their defence and their midfield weren't really coming across the halfway line, but they were expecting the front three to put the pressure on. There was loads of gaps. That Celtic could have tried to dominate. Celtic played an absolutely fantastic game in the first half. Second half, you expected them to come out. You expected them to come out because, let's face it, they were a goal down, and tactically, Brendan Rodgers got it right. Anyway, the tenacity at Lennoxtown in the game. Thought Dyson's temper was up yesterday. Who's selling unplayers? I'm just reading some of the comments. Seeing the famous Icebrook song played yesterday. Boo! And today we're all drinking tears. Lots of them. Scales, yeah. Let's talk about Scales. Everyone was saying nightmare going into that game with Scales. And even myself, we thought if we go into that game with Scales, I thought, we all know now why Phillips didn't play. McCoist looks like a fat Rolf Harris. That's bad. They're hissing at Scales. When you look at yesterday's game, and we sit back and we look at the way that Celtic played, and with so many people out injured, I mean, with Cameron Carter-Vickers out injured, we bring in Phillips. You think Phillips is going to play, and then Scales is in with Gustav. And then did you see the state of the banner at the start about our son? Yeah, and I also seen something about it's sexist this morning. Something about people are saying it's sexist because it's all about going to the football with your son. Kasper Schmeichel, a lot of people are talking about Kasper Schmeichel. It looks like he is going to a club in Holland, Let me just get that one up. I had that one up earlier. I'm glad because Kasper Schmeichel's 36, and I think it would have been the wrong decision to bring Kasper Schmeichel in. Yeah, he's away to Anderlecht. So we all know that Celtic are now looking for the Liverpool keeper to be the next one in after Joe Hart leaves the end of this season. And it does look like Joe Hart will leave at the end of this season. So it's paramount that we either get this keeper in. I would rather get him in at Christmas time if we're going to get him. Let's get some Celtic news because I'm fed up talking about them now. Celtic, Hugo Furiashi, Phillips. Everything's just about them and how angry they are. When you look at the pictures of them fighting in the stands amongst themselves, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. James Tavernier reveals dressing room angry and disappointment at defeat. Well, there you go. John Hartson surprised that Celtic got the call. We're all surprised, John. We're all surprised because let's face it, when it comes down to games at Ibrox over going back as long as you want, we never usually get decisions. And the introduction of the VAR has kind of given us a bit of a level playing field. The banner was 2 metres square, as well. Callum was up for it. And yep, it was that. Morning, Sevco, excuse me, FC. Morning, enjoy the sun in Birmingham. Right, who else is online? Yeah, Kalmark definitely turned up. I don't think it was right. This narrative that Kalmark turned up. If you look at the last couple of games, teams have been man-marking Callum McGregor. And I did warn you about this a couple of weeks ago. And I said the difference between when we come into the Rangers game, right, is the difference that they're not going to man-mark Kalmark. When you look at the second half of the game, they tried to man-mark Kalmark, but it didn't work. They just didn't do it. They don't play that type of football where they're running around man-marking one player. So this narrative that Kalmark turned up, he wasn't man-marked during the game. If you look at the space that Callum had, and that all comes down to the Rangers lineup. Rangers were trying to push the front three further forward, and then their midfield were sitting further back. Did you hear the zombie roasting Ferguson? Yes. Kev sent me it yesterday. Right, the first half pressed like Ange Ball. No, we didn't. We pressed like Brendan Ball. We played nothing like what Ange Ball did. If you look at the way that we played, and we'll go back to it, go back and watch the training video from Celtic at Lennoxtown, and you'll see exactly how they played going by that training session. Barry the cheerleader. Cheerleader for who? I'm not a cheerleader for anyone. I see it as it is, and that's basically it. Morning Lorna says, Stuart, no penalty for Tav. I know, they must be devastated with that. It must be the first game ever that there's no penalty. Rangers was cried out, although they did try it. With little Tinkerbell. Zombie in the chat. Who's got the spanner? Is there a zombie in the chat? That's cool. Just leave him. What is he saying? Huns are on. Of course they're going to be on watching. They'll want to see what we're saying. And it doesn't matter if they're watching. Just let them watch today. Because I'm going to say it again. They don't moan every week when they get their penalty Rangers. I think you meant me, Barry Ferguson. Yeah. Baz, no special handshakes yesterday after the game. Yes, and if you look back to the game against Kilmarnock, and you'll see the smiling faces with the referee and Kilmarnock manager. There we go. John has made his point this morning. After here, I'm going to John Thompson's grave as I'm working tomorrow. I'll keep my gloves on. Get the iron brewing for me. Yep, it's a fantastic graveside that at Carden Den, and I'm sure you'll see lots of flowers in that there. It's the Carden Den boys do look after the grave there, which is fantastic. Your cheerleader, I thought Barry Ferguson was going to start greeting on radio. On the radio. Yes, I think he was, but not as much as the poor. Yeah, I seen Kaiser outside the stadium yesterday. Outside Ibrox. That was hilarious. The fact that he lives right now in the corner was absolutely brilliant. In news, and Alistair Johnson taking off. No, there's no news as yet. Let me just double check. There's nothing coming at Celtic Park. Got to remember, the players will have a day off today. So they'll come back in on Tuesday. And if anything's going to come out, it'll come out on Tuesday. So, identifying or gloom club football. The Great Wall of Silence. The Great Wall of Silence. Actually, if you watch, you probably have watched it. When Celtic do the behind the scenes video, the unique camera action video, and Kyogo's goal against Rangers is met by a massive wall of silence. The fact that Celtic rejected 700 tickets due to safety concerns, and we're going to talk about those safety concerns, and right, because let's face it, yesterday once again, something was thrown onto the pitch towards our goalkeeper. Now, the last time it happened, it was glass bottles, and there was glass all over the pitch. Before we go any further, I don't condone that in any means, but that ground is not safe. It is not safe for our fans in that corner, and Celtic were quite within their right to knock back, and it was proven yesterday, the fact that it is not a safe ground for us to go to, due to the fact that there was more things. Yeah, it was a vape thrown at Joe Hart, but it's something thrown at, what if it wasn't a vape? What if it was a glass bottle? I know, and it was a bullet. It's a bullet. Yeah, it did look like a vape, and those things can be quite heavy. What if it hit him on the head? What if it hit him off the head, and it was a pacemaker exploding? Oh, look, there we go. There's one in town. What was the score yesterday? What was the score yesterday? Let me see. I better go in here and just. What was the score yesterday? I wonder what the morning must be hurting. Must be really hurting. It's hard. I know it's hard. It's difficult for you. And we're there for you in your time of need. Because let's face it, you've got a manager that was unable to get you into the Champions League, and you've got a manager that was unable to beat a Celtic team that's got half the team missing. And that's the best kind of banter you can come up with. Never mind. That's all right. That's okay. We'll take it. We can take the abuse. You're going to take the abuse because let's face it, you were fighting with each other in the stadium yesterday. Anyway, let's move on. And let me see. The fact that we did turn down the 100 tickets, fans were ecstatic the way that it finished. And that's all it needs to be said. The fact that Celtic TV show as much footage as well. And watch out for Celtic TV actually ramping up stuff in the next couple of months, because you got to remember, we took a guy on the board that used to work at Apple. And the guy that used to work at Apple is an absolute genius when it comes to pay-per-view and live streaming and everything like that. So you're going to get a lot more. The roost allocation was we kept winning. What next? Make the grass blue. Yep, Green Lecce, a hun with absolutely wash patter. But we'll leave them at that. We'll leave them. Broomloan. Give us a broom loan or forget it, says Sean. Yes, I completely agree with that. Give us the full allocation or forget it. They'll consign the atmosphere, the once great atmosphere at games like that to the history books. A bit like the old Rangers in 2012. Wait till they come to Paradise, and it's 100% Hun free. And if you want your 100% Hun free t-shirt, go down to hoopsmerch.co.uk and you'll get 100% Hun free t-shirt there. Let's see if there's some more news. The news is all about them. It's all about them. People are now saying it's a weight off Rodgers' shoulders that he won yesterday. I don't think it's a weight off his shoulders. I think we even said, a lot of us said yesterday, I mean, we did say, so look, we'll take rumours that Rangers are going to cut their own allocation for the next game so that the fans don't boo the team. It's funny hearing all the Huns make excuses, but to get beat at home when we are far from our best speaks volumes, says Peter, and it shows how rubbish that they are. And I will go back to it. I will go back to all the players that we've got out injured, and then once those players come back, we will be an unstoppable force. Even Brendan said it before the game, and people were saying, this is Brendan making excuses. And then I've seen a few guys actually on social media going absolutely crazy online about Brendan's choice of team. Laga, 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 good stuff. That's just to annoy them this morning. Going absolutely mental at Brendan. Give me your thoughts on Brendan in the comments now, because a lot of people were saying he wasn't going to get any leeway, and quite rightly so, because a lot of fans had issues with the way that they perceived that he left, and the way that he perceived that he left. But tell me your thoughts on Brendan in the comments now. A lot of people were saying we had first round on tears for me. It's first pint of the season for me. We're worried about Sevco fans not buying European tickets now. A video of Brendan driving and waving to Celtic fans was brilliant. Yes, it was that. Got to remember, a lot of people are saying that Brendan will probably walk away just as quick as he walked in the door. Brendan will not walk away this time. Brendan will be here for the 3 years. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's here for more than 3 years. It's the second time I've been sent the thing for Paddy Power. The final whistle, the place was a mosque. Yes. Brendan's back to stay. The team he picked was good with the options that he had, to be fair. It was that. You cannot slate Brendan's choice of team yesterday when you see the players that were out fit. And now we know the reason that Phillips wasn't allowed to play, because he wasn't 100% fit. They'll ban Celtic team from Ibrox and they'll still lose. They're so clever. Start cheering. The ref give a free kick to us. They want to play Ibrox game against us behind closed doors with no fans. Yeah, because that's the only way they can win. It is the only way that they can win, isn't it? We go back to 2020. The only way that Rangers can beat us on a sort of ongoing basis is when the players behind closed doors. John Shirley says, Baza was offered government's pie. Bugger that. Ali gives us a super sticker. She is absolutely fantastic. Let's see some more of the comments. There's a video of Brendan Rodgers in his car on London roads. Yes, there is. I've not got it. If I can find it, I might try and put it up. Juggiers and his Peter brother. Yeah, let's celebrate them throwing the money. The Royals. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right. The fact that we beat them, there's a Frankie says, the fact that we beat them without any of our new players makes it even sweeter. Now, we brought in 10 players during the window. We brought in 10 players during the window, and not one of them. No, Yang did. Yang started, didn't he? Yang came on. Yang came on, so yeah. This was boxing. COVID year 55. COVID year 55. Exactly. Exactly. Right, let's see what other news is kicking about other than Ali McCoist going into meltdown. Absolute meltdown. Absolute meltdown. Ali McCoist also goes on to say, this is a cracker, someone is busy on VAR, and he puts the ref in a position who sadly wasn't strong enough to stay by his convictions. It's not the first time that we've seen. If you said to me when Paul Larkin brought out the documentary Anyone But Celtic, and he took an in-depth look into the Lanarkshire Referee Association. And if you tell me when we were watching that documentary that Rangers fans would one day be saying that the refs are not for them and are for Celtic, Ali McCoist says that it's not the first time we've seen it. He said that someone's busier in VAR, and he puts the ref in a position who sadly wasn't strong enough to stay by his convictions. The referee went over to the screen and looked at it. The referee saw exactly what every single one of us saw, and it's the Rangers player planking his foot in front of the ground, going forward in front of the Celtic player. That's a foul. It's a foul all day long. So, it is just tears. And the goal was some blind by Kyogo. Pagan common sense, totally biased. The Lanarkshire ref, yeah. And until they admit and own up to the Lanarkshire Referee Association, which is down in Lanark, which is run by the Masonic Lodge, and every referee that's in it is vetted through the Orange Lodge. But somehow we've infiltrated that, and Lager Gustav did one, and it was a beautiful Sunday yesterday. Right, we're on for 30 minutes. That's enough for this morning. Check back live this afternoon, roughly around about 5:15 Celtic Park time. We'll do another live before some of the other channels come on, and then we'll have some more chat about the Glasgow Derby, and we'll see how much more of them are in meltdown. Big shout out to two superstars of the channel, John driving the van, who's going to see John Thompson's grave in Cardenden, Fife tomorrow. Or is he going today? And Ali Jones. Ali Jones is an absolute superstar of the channel. Also, with that being said, it is the half hour mark. Get back to work. Don't rate fraudsters. It still doesn't rate Jock Law. You're not getting a laugh with that, Baz. Baz, not a fan. Not in the slightest myself. I looked at the sky and I saw a wee angel. Kevin showing me the video. Well, you get him into the office. It's a hut you have, isn't it? Get him into the porta cabin and ask him for the video that I sent. We're no boasting. I love the vlog says, Ali, thank you. Cheers, Lorna. Paul Baird says Glasgow is green and white. Imagine never getting a penalty at Ibrox on a Glasgow derby. And that will have a fantastic day, Celtic fans.